So in previous class, I explained the in the Node.js, I explained the HTTP module thing. I explained the topic. So what is the why Node.js and how to install the Node.js, how to run the Node.js, and also so we need to learn the what are the core modules we are using Node.js. So one by one we need to know about those modules. So first I will explain the HTTP module. So in HTTP module, how we call the create the server, how we get the how we send the response. Explain. Now, also if you want to send the response in the HTML format, you need to pass a header like this. Now, so we are sending the response from server to client using the HTTP module. Okay. Now, how we need to get the data from client to server. So they are sending the request data, right? They are sending the request data from client to server. Then how the request data we are accessing. Okay. Generally, uh, client send the data through the URLs also. For example, if you run the application, if you run this one, okay, so we are using the port number 8080. So if I run here localhost 8080, so this is the URL. So user can send the data from client to server in multiple ways. Client to server in two ways. Client to server in two ways. One is get method, one is the post method. So get method means get method means they're sending the data from get method sending data through URLs. So URL ద్వారా like means call query parameters. Okay. So users send the data through the URLs. So that if user, if any client, if you send the data through the URL, that method is the get method. So if you send the data through the URL, that method is get method. If you send the data through the URL, that means if you throw the URL, if for example, I'm passing like somebody hello welcome. I'm passing welcome, and also this is the we are sending data, and also we are passing through query parameters like key value. For example, name equal to Prakash. Okay, and next age is equal to 25. So we are sending the data from client to server using the query parameters like key equal to key value pairs. Okay, key value pairs. So how we read the data? How we read these query parameters? If a send the data from client to server through the query parameters, how we catch this request data? How we catch this request data? For example, let's write. If you let's write. Okay. If you want to know the what is the URL they are sending then we use the request dot URL. Okay, request dot that one. Then let's see what happening and stop the server again running the server. So if I enter this, see this is the we are passing the data, right? So if we pass the data from client to server through the URL in the query parameters, we can catch the URL using the request dot URL. Now, from this URL, we need to split this data. So we are finding this name equal to Prakash, age is equal to 25. So we need to take the data of Prakash and 25. So we need to parse this URL. We need to parse that URL. To parse the URL, okay, to parse the URL, we need to have separate module called URL module. Okay, URL module. So URL module used for to parse the URL, to parse the query URL. For example, if you pass the data through the query parameters through the URL, okay, you can parse this URL using this URL module, okay. So let's import the URL module. Okay, let's import in the URL module, right? Constant URL equal to require URL module. So using this URL module, what we can parse this data. We can pass the query parameters. If we pass the data through the URL, those are called query parameters. Query parameters is name equal to value, age is equal to undefined. So now we need to parse these query parameters. That fun then for less thing. For example, next thing const data equal to. So we need to pass this URL, right? So for that one URL that. So we take the URL from here, right? So URL that parse. So we need to pass the URL. This is the URL we are getting request.url. Okay, request.url. Okay, that query. Now we got the data. Like we got it like in the object, like name the data of name equal to Prakash, data of age equal to 20. Let's control that one. Let's control here. Just so what is it means? We are parsing the request URL. We are passing the request URL using the URL module. I import URL module. Passing the core parameter. I'm getting the query parameters. Query parameters. Let's run application. Okay. Okay. Now run this one. Okay. Now so see the console. So see this is the data we are getting, right? Name is equal to Prakash. So if you get the data from the URL, this is the way. You need to pass the using the URL module. Okay, and we need to print. So if you want the Prakash, then data dot name. If you want the age, data dot is. So let's print like data dot Prakash. Sorry, data dot name. Because we are getting the name equal data dot name, data dot age. Okay. Let's see. Again, stop that one. Now check. Now run the application. Server still running. Some error is coming. Like data dot name is not there. The data dot name is not there. What is telling that? What is telling? What is the error? Undefined. Is defined undefined. So wrong. We are getting the data that if you run the data, let's see what is the output. So we are getting the name is equal to Prakash. Now we can split this one. Right? We can split and we can call that one. So here if you want to pass it to object, we need to pass the true. Then we will get the object format like data dot name. Let's see. We need to stop the server, right? We need to stop the server. We need to run. Again, error is coming. I think something is missing. Right. This is the way how we pass the data from URL to from request data. So this is the way we are passing. So I got data on a Prakash, right? Let's see. Let's say print again. Okay, I'm running again. Okay, let's see. I got data on a Prakash, right? Something else will come. We're passing the name, right? This is the way how you get the data from your URL to this one. Address coming. If you're not pass true parameters, then okay, then we get the data. So this is the way how you pass the data from request URL to. So here you explain the URL module to parse the our URL. That's it for today class. Okay.